That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but
Okay.
yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video. Okay.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away. Good morning, Vietnam!
What we do, our picture shows, selling views. Charity events, pay for jets and make the news. And don't forget, if you're gonna come, everybody's cool. We're referencing the book to fit the view, we're selling you.
And good Friday morning. It is now 6:25 a.m. in the Central Standard Time, and I am RJ Shine, and we are live. So let's go and do this today. We're not in a rush. We're going to take our time. We've got so much planned. Some great music, some memes, some spirituality. And yes, we're going to open up the paper and have a look inside. So grab your freshly ground coffee. Come and get warm. Sit down by the fire. If you want, open your window and watch the snowfall. Let's get into this. The first meme of the morning. Let's all welcome changes, okay? I release all things from the past that has caused any negative attachment. I prepare and welcome new challenges and new changes, new lessons and new adventures. I welcome new opportunities to grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Do you want to welcome these things with me? I really hope you do. This is what we're here to do today. Awakening, right? Something that a lot of people are experiencing and they don't quite understand it. This meme from Atomogenesis really does help. It says here, a spiritual awakening is not usually pleasant. Often it feels like confusion, frustration, anger, sadness, grief, or being out of place. This can be an uncomfortable and challenging because it's an intense time of personal growth. But despite how difficult it may feel, you're not going crazy. You're actually evolving and, yes, awakening. So if you're going through any of these issues, I just want you to know that you're not alone. That's it. You're not alone. And I'm happy that you're here. The overall goal always will be is love, right? Not separation, not hate, not selective caring. Love is the only frequency that we can all elevate at. Are you loving? Are you loving yourself first and then everyone else around you? That's what we want to try to promote here on the Rise and Grind is love. Love. That's what we're about. Because we were born with way, way, way too sensitive of a soul for this cold and ugly world. I have always felt things much more deeper and deeply and different than most people. That has always been my blessing and yes, also a curse. But what we do here at the Rise and Grind is we try to put out the content, we try to put out the information, and we try to deal with having these issues of not being like anyone else. So what we try to do is find others like us through doing the content, putting out the music, and taking the time to get to know each other and to share vulnerable parts of ourselves. That's how we do it. And I hope you're able to do it too. This next one says, believe in your dreams because they were given to you for a reason. Right? Your dreams aren't fake. They're real. They're from your conscious, from your soul. Your soul is actually what communicates with you in your dreams. So I want you to make sure that you focus on your dreams, the things that you're inspired by, the things that you want to become. Don't push those aside due to the negativity or stress in life. Find reasons to go after your dreams. They're yours. They're yours for a good reason. You just have to get after it. This next one says, and it's very true, the moon actually taught me it's okay to go through phases. Okay, we all do it. We all go through phases. The moon shows us every single month how she goes through her phases. But the sun also has taught me that no matter how many times you go down, to just keep on rising. It doesn't matter how dark the night is, that shining sun is going to crest and rise above your horizon every single day. And no matter what you go through, you too can rise with the sun, okay? And it's very healthy to be up, elevated, and about your day as the sun rises, because it goes through us in an electromagnetic way. And we actually can fuel ourselves from this. It's called Ayurveda. If you actually go out, you can ingest the sunlight, right? You can eat it. But that's another topic for another time. This one is very, very interesting. Let's read this together. It says, this is how you increase your IQ. Having a high IQ doesn't simply mean knowing facts like, quote, how long is the Nile River or how far away is the moon from Earth, etc. That's data remembering. It's important to have as much data as you can to work with. But what if the data you remembered was actually incorrect? Always question your data. Having a high IQ means being able to make logical connections between seemingly unconnected things, pattern recognition, that if X happened 9 out of 10 times, it will likely happen the 10th time too, right? This is what we're looking at. Then you have to learn to notice X transpiring in other situations too, right? Example, during the Cerveza scam, the government was rushing to save us. That was X. Has X ever happened before? Has the government ever tried to save you? Giving you money to save you? No. Then why expect X to be transpiring now? You need to question it, right? They're doing X for a reason. Having a higher IQ than others literally means being more conscious than others, knowing what you're doing, and most importantly, why you are doing it. To increase your IQ, you simply have to become more conscious of the things around you, of yourself, of your actions, and of the actions of others. Learn to observe carefully. Higher IQ means first and foremost questioning what you read, what you watch, what you hear, and also what you believe. Higher IQs are definitely connected to having no ego, right? Ego will hold you back. People with an ego never actually go and doubt themselves. You'll make mistakes, but what you need to do is observe them and observe what you did wrong. Next time, go on and be more conscious of that and try not to make the same mistakes this time. What if I'm wrong equals ego death. Questioning yourself, questioning your decisions, and making your mistakes right, correcting them is how we evolve, how we grow, how we heal. It's very key. So if you want to have a higher IQ, start working on your pattern recognition. Start questioning yourself, questioning your beliefs, go into every single possibility. And what happens is through deductive reasoning, you deduct, you take away all the things that aren't true, and what you're left with is the pure truth. And that's how we become to get a higher IQ. So let's get into the next song break, and we're going to open up the paper together and go through the news. So thank you very much for tuning in. It's now 6:32 a.m. It's Friday, December 30th. We are almost done the Gregorian pagan year. We're going to be heading into the year 2023, and I hope you did something with your life in 2022. I hope you accomplished some goals. I hope you've learned some lessons, and I hope you're ready for a new good year, for something great to happen in your life, because that's what I'm trying for, and I want to inspire that in all of you too. So I'm going to see you guys after this song break.
Come here.
That new hit was coming from All the Damn Vampires and Ryan Rose with Breaking Up. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get into the news now. Let's go. How are you all doing this morning? It's much warmer. It's not 13 degrees out this week, so it's a lot more comfortable of a morning show for me. It was cool. Last week I could actually see my breath. This week I can see the content. So this first one here coming in off Twitter, I really enjoy the look of this. This was a built room to make it look like it's inside of a tree. For me, there's just something super peaceful about it. I really like it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get into some of this news here. Did you know that the worst snowstorm in decades actually took place in Buffalo? Did you guys know that? It's amazing. Check this out. Well, unfortunately, they did have some unfortunate issues. People were buried alive in their cars. This gives me an opportunity to explain to people, if snow is piling up outside your car, the best thing that you can do is open the doors. I don't understand how people wouldn't have created space so that they can get out of their cars. My heart goes out to anybody that's lost anybody in these types of situations. It's tragic, right? But you always have to be prepared. When you watch the weather and you see what's about to come, be prepared. Have a generator. Have extra water. Really, all you need to survive is water for quite a long time. You could probably go a week, 2 weeks, or even longer with just water. So as long as you're prepared, if you get stuck in these snow drifts, don't let the snow pile up to the point where you can't open your door. Open the door periodically and then close it again. Open it, close it again, so that there's always enough space for you to get out, because a lot of people died. They were trapped inside their cars. It was quite the snowstorm. People in Buffalo, they're absolutely used to this, which is amazing, but still, as you can see, people did die. And then unfortunately, yes, after the snowstorm happened, the looting and everything, it started. Sadly, this is what happens. This is what society breeds, right?
Wow.
People were just stealing stuff.
Jail. They ran around this.
There's literally cops.
They fucking poking around here.
It's crazy. Don't loot. Don't steal. Just have the money, buy the stuff that you need. Don't be a part of any of this nonsense when it takes place, okay? Be a good citizen. Don't steal things. Stealing is wrong on all levels. It's just wrong, including when the government does it. So now on to more important news. The majority of Canadians now, yes, want Justin Trudeau to step down in 2023. Will he resign? Right? So the news is finally coming out that people don't want this guy anymore. He's done nothing for them that's good. He's just a horrible, horrible person. And I've got some more proof of that. Look at this. This is just incredible. Worst prime minister, yes, in the history of Canada.
Cost of living.
Check this out.
Inflation is hovering around 7%. The Bank of Canada has raised interest rates multiple times. It's causing such hardship for people in this country. I want to play you a clip, if you don't mind. We've done multiple stories about the cost of living, and this one in particular surprised a lot of us.
So people are so desperate, they're coming here for food, but then they're asking you about assisted suicide?
Yes.
You're having people ask you about
Yes.
assisted
Yes. When I say that this is an emergency in the community, people who are living at the bottom income percentile in our community are talking to us now about taking their own lives because it's too hard to be poor any longer.
That's the CEO of the Mississauga Food Bank, and we were stunned by that. What goes through your mind when you hear that?
It's heartbreaking, and it deepens my resolve to do everything I can to be there for people.
So, as this says here, Canadian Prime Minister, right after that interview, headed to Jamaica for his week-long vacation. So people are wanting to die in Canada because they're so poor, and he knows this. It's in his attention. What does he do? Him and his family jump on a plane and head to Jamaica for Christmas vacation, right? Great Prime Minister, and you wonder why people want him out, right? Moving on now to Elon Musk talks conspiracy theories and absolutely nails it. So it's crazy that they're putting this guy up there and giving him supposed truths to talk about when all he's really doing is saying things that are common. They're normal. They're normalizing bravery, right? These people are not brave. They're agents of destruction and chaos, but they're being put out here as somehow brave for saying things that the government did wrong that they should have never done in the first place. That's not bravery. It's stupid. Like, listen to them.
I mean, to be totally frank,
okay, your name is Elon, not Frank.
Almost every conspiracy theory that people had about Twitter turned out to be true.
Yeah, all conspiracies are usually true, Elon. This is nothing new.
So, like, is there a conspiracy theory about Twitter that didn't turn out to be true? So far, they've all turned out to be true. And
so, as we showed last week, let him finish.
More true than people thought.
More true than people thought. So, what we pointed out last week is that at the World Cup final, Elon was in the same suite as Jared Kushner. And I've been explaining to people what they did was Jared Kushner bought all the data to get Trump elected. When you have the data, you can create different types of mind control situations where you're speaking the things that the people actually want to hear. You give them what they want. So people want these heroes and the freedom. So they're rolling out people that are absolutely... Elon Musk is faking space, wants to put chips in everybody's brain, and is for all the agendas. So on the other hand, they've given him Twitter and they're allowing him to break the supposed norms, but all they're doing is normalizing things that are just normal. They're not brave. These aren't freedom fighters. These are wicked, evil, rich people who are set up in positions to tout the WEF and their agendas while trying to appear that they're somehow freedom fighters. So don't be fooled by Elonald. Move on from it. Keep your head up and out of the darkness. Stay in the light. Now, if you haven't been watching, they've got more fake riots that have been planned and taking place here. Paris has fallen. Check this out. It's getting crazy. People are just going crazy there. It's crazy. This is what they had on that Economist magazine, right? That there was going to be riots and staged protests all over the realm. And it's happening. Chaos at the center in Paris. It's crazy. It's crazy. What is this going to change? What are they going to accomplish through this rioting? What do you think is going to be accomplished? That's my question for you. Again, more video footage of what's going on. Check it out. They got the riot cops and everything going. This is going to become a lot more commonplace moving forward as well. People are going to start to revolt and push back, and really sadly, this isn't the way to get anything settled. The way to get things settled is to put good leaders in place that actually care about the citizens and that won't sway or be bought off, that are willing to stand on good morals and principles. That's what we need, not riots. This is just going to cause more security, more lockdowns, and more things that we don't want anything to do with. But yet, that is what's going on. Let's keep moving on here in the morning show. So I'm going to have to mute the background sound here. We're trying to get used to this new setup. I really do want to continue to try to evolve and get better with the show. Please always just have patience with us here as this team as we try to move forward. We're trying to do new things, and I'm still getting used to it. But here, this is an interesting video here. It says, who's hiding in the shadows? Problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic explained. Check this out.
As the crowd continued to grow, the angry mob began to gather around the castle. The old man in the ivory tower said to his worried family, "Fear not, simply create a story to tell all the farmers that the ones who live in the town are the reason their freedoms were restricted. Then all the peasants will fight amongst themselves." His family grew concerned that people would figure out this obvious deception. The old man smiled because he had played this game before. He knew it is easier to fool the people than to convince them that they had been fooled.
First, initiate a problem for the people.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Then they get a reaction from the people to do something about it.
Not only was Saddam supposed to be there,
then offer a solution to the problem they created. This is called the Hegelian dialect. Problem, reaction, solution. This tactic is used over and over throughout the process of the takeover. The structure of the takeover is simple. Use money to buy, influence, or blackmail highly positioned people in big corporations, politics, and media. Cripple the middle class economically so they no longer have power. Offer a dramatically increased dependency on the government as a relief from the economic hardship created by the government. Remove freedoms one by one, trading them for the promise of money and gifts from the government. Set up a militarized police state to ensure the new normal will be long-lasting. And finally, once the controls are fully implemented and the citizens are dependent on the new system with no means of fighting back, the governments and those really in power will start to remove the entitlements they promised you. After a few years of free money known as universal basic income, there will be an ever-widening gap between the classes. Those receiving the free money will no longer be the poor. They will eventually be reclassified as the useless class. And we all know what is done with something useless.
So that is the Hegelian dialectic. If you haven't heard it before, now you have. It's basically how they've controlled populations for roughly about 6,000 years now, as far back as we can go. We have seen the Hegelian dialectic at play. Problem, reaction, solution. They want the solution, so they offer a problem because they know the reaction that you're going to give. So don't be fooled by them. Stay calm and always think of other ways around the narratives. Always look to find other hidden truths inside of what they're saying. Don't just take whatever you see at face value. This one says cerveza shots damage hearts in all recipients, the study finds. This is coming out now. It's not a secret anymore that the depopulation agenda is full in swing. And people need to be aware that they need to stay away from any type of medical help that the government tries to offer. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, nor am I a professional in any of these types of studies. I am a researcher. I do the research and I question everything. And that's all I really want you guys to do on the other side of the screen too. Now, we got a tweet coming out of Eric Dubay, who actually, I have to give him a little credit. He did a video on perspective where he's actually teaching people the vanishing point. This is the first other FE channel, besides Jason and myself from Awake Souls, that has delved into this topic of teaching you that you have a circle of sight. But here, as you can see on the screen, he takes it to a retarded fake. This is not the way that radar works. This is ridiculous. The scale, excuse me, the scale of radar is only within a few miles around you. You do not have an AE map on a radar screen. This is impossible. It would never happen. It's the most ridiculous disinformation that you could ever find. If you actually go and get some of these radio schematics, you're going to see that they only have a few miles around them that you can see. You don't see the whole map because it's too large. Just think of how long it would take for this dot to move across a continent. It's ridiculous. But as you can see, Eric Dubay is a fake shill who's put out here to give you dis and misinformation, while also he has to keep some truth in his repertoire because people can feel truth. They feel it. So Eric has to say some true so that he could slip in the Freemasonic New World Order Jesuit, what is this called? Pressurized pizza dome flying in outer space map. Don't be fooled by this anymore. The sun doesn't circle like this, nor do the luminaries. Everything that they try to teach you, you have to be weary of. And this Eric Dubay guy thinks that when he goes and meets the judge, the angel of judgment, that he's going to tell him to F off and that he's going to go create his own realm. Good luck with that, Eric. I can't wait to see how that goes. Moving on from Eric Dubay and his nonsense, have you seen the Sarthe Canal Bridge in Belgium? Most of Belgium is actually built under sea level, right? So what they did was they constructed a bridge here to actually carry the water across this low land so that they could have cars and travel underneath the water. This is quite the build. It's amazing, and the amount of engineering that's gone in to create this. I found this link very fascinating. The time is now 6:51 a.m. in the Central Standard Time, and it is Friday, December the 30th. Well, with another $45 billion in hand, you can be absolutely sure that it's snowing in Zelensky's office tonight, as you can see here in the meme. We're not going to let you go, bro. We're going to continue to call out this nonsense, retarded, fake war between the East and the West and Ukraine as nonsense and theater. That's all the Freemasons do, the theater of war. Moving on here, this is a very important meme. This one says, the most beautiful, the greatest act of love in all of history, Yahawahashai, not Jesus, took a symbol of humiliation and by it conquered sin and death and was given the keys to life and death, to hell. He has the keys. Don't be fooled. But as you can see here, Muslims call it the Herder pathetic scene. The Islamic is a spirit of Antichrist. They go on here to tout the Jesuitical. So the Islam religion was actually created by the Vatican too, by the Vatican through the Frankist stuff. They had a guy named Frank, and he was such a devout religious person, scriptural person, they told him, we're going to kill you or you're going to start this Muslim faith. And he did start the Muslim faith, and you can do your own research on all this, but this is what the Muslims say, is that Christ was a trickster. First off, he wasn't clothed, he was humiliated nude, nailed to a tree, not to a cross like this. They had his name above it, right? But his hands and arms were put above his head. That's how he was nailed. But it goes on to state here, why did your God, which is a pagan deity name for Godriel or Odin, has nothing to do with Yahawah, why did your God not save himself from the cross? At least we Muslims honored Jesus, which means earth pig, G-sus. G is earth and sus is pig in Latin, excuse me. And did not leave him with his pathetic scene. So what the Muslims say is that he tricked everybody. He didn't die. They took him down off the cross, and he went on to live and marry and have kids. That's what the Muslim people, and they think that they're actually saving him. But Christ was not the Father. That is ridiculous. It's the most stupid, dumb misinformation that the Vatican could have ever created. They misused John 1:1, where Yahawah was the Word, and the Word was with Yahawah, and the Word was an Elohim. They turned that into Jesus was God. And Jesus was not, Yahawahashai was not the Father. He was the Son of the Father. So again, this is just mis and disinformation coming out of the Muslims, and go figure, you can be a Christian and you can go out on the street. If I was to go and start preaching, which I'm not going to do, because you don't go around and yell at people, right? You put the truth out there and the people that want to come to you. So the Muslims are allowed to go on streets and they're allowed to pray. It's bad sound here. They're allowed to do their faith and believe what they want, but yet there's Christians also who praying silently in the streets, they get arrested. Right? And they're allowed to do this because the Muslim faith is the Antichrist spirit. Don't get it twisted. You got to know the truth. This one here says, never fight until you have to. Never. Always do everything you can to avoid a physical conflict. Every single time you can. But when it's time to fight, it says here, sorry, I had a glitch in my software programming. It says here, when it's time to fight, you fight like you're the third monkey on a ramp to Noah's Ark. And brother, it is started to rain. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I had a glitch in the. We'll get to another song break soon. We'll do a few more of these news tabs here. It says, politics is Satan's game on the weak-minded. It says here, don't sacrifice your children to Baal, vote Moloch. This one says, don't sacrifice your children to Moloch. It says here, vote Baal. Which one are you voting for on the other side of the screen? I'm not voting for any of these clowns. Moving on here, busted PM Rashi Sanik, founding partner of Thalim Partners, which, yes, signed a 5-year deal with AstraZeneca in 2013 to discover, develop, and commercialize vaccine mRNAs, right? What do you know about your prime minister in the UK over there? He is an absolute... Why do you think he was put into power? Why do you think they gave him the position? Could it be because he was the one who partnered with Thalim Partners, which signed a 5-year deal with AstraZeneca back in 2013? I think that is the reason why he is where he is. I'll leave the rest up to you. Moving on here, Camilla Giorgi, among the suspects, they're calling her a fake vaccinated person. So now they're shaming people and saying that you didn't get the vaccine. So I don't understand, why is it that these people need to have the jab to play sports? After seeing all the people that are dying suddenly this week, it's just shocking that this is even a headline. And by the way, I had about 10 different links that I wanted to show you this morning of people that have died suddenly just in the last week, and that Twitter page is gone. They were taken down this morning or last night between the hours of 10 last night and 6 a.m. in the morning. Gone. But we've got it saved. We've got prepared links within the next section of the morning show, the memes of the morning. We're going to get into that. I've a good thing that I documented it, because Twitter, supposedly Elon Musk coming out and fighting against the New World Order, is taking down anybody that's showing any of the people that are dying from heart attacks. Your accounts are being taken down. You're not allowed to share that information. So how is Twitter the new freedom of speech? Right? It's all a big lie and a hoax. Don't be fooled by it. Breaking news. Now, this one here, anybody that goes around and thinks they can try to promote that there's anything like a virus or an organization where they created this gain of function type research is lying to you. Okay, the virology is out. It's done. They've already done the virology, and they've proven that virologists are just faking and making up the evidence. There is no proof that there's some invisible enemy that's coming to get you, right? We go through detox periods, depending usually when the weather changes, when we go through different season changes, our bodies detox and they create fluid to flush the body out. It's a good process, but they want to make you believe that this is a virus and it's going to come and get you and kill you. So what you have is people on the right, like this guy, Peter Daszak, who's going to come out and tell you all this. Let's hear what he has to say.
We, the people, are dying in massive numbers. 6.5 million. 6.5 million globally.
Sorry, this is Tom Renz.
Did Anthony Fauci lie about gain of function work? Absolutely, in my opinion, he did. And how about criminal charges? We're gonna go after Bannon for contempt because he didn't bother to show up to a farce hearing. But we're gonna let Fauci lie to Congress about something that is consequential enough to result in 6 million deaths?
6 million. And why is it with these people and the number 6 million? I think we've heard the number 6 million enough. Okay? But here we go. We got the right now using the 6 million number and moving into the Cerveza thing. I think this is just totally comical. And if anybody out there actually thinks that Tony Fauci is going to be held accountable, you're all delusional. You're absolutely insane. He's gone. He's already quit. But he's continuing to make the rounds and to promote the falsehoods of virology. And so are these people right here. Moving on, we'll get to a song break soon. Thread, the Twitter files, how Twitter rigged the Cerveza debate. This is true. This is absolutely true. So what they did was they censor info that's true, but inconvenient for the U.S. government policy, which they're still doing to this very day here on Twitter. By discrediting doctors, most doctors need to be discredited anyways, and other experts who disagreed. The good doctors that came out and said this is all nonsense, they were discredited, they were ad hominem attacked. People tried to discredit every character flaw about them while not actually looking at the information that these doctors were presenting. They just said, oh, you did this wrong in 2012, or they weren't actually looking at the issues. By suppressing ordinary users, including some sharing the CDC's own data, so they just basically Twitter deleted whoever said anything against the narrative. Same with YouTube, same with Facebook, and they're continuing to do it to this very moment. So I think it's time. Let's get into another song break. This is a little bit longer one. This is a special retro, but it's new. Right. And what we try to do here is we try to bring all new types of sounds to the forefront. We're constantly searching the realm for new music, trying to come up with other types of listening. And I don't just want to play the songs that I love. I want to play a variety of songs so that we can bring a larger group of people in here. The main reason that we do this podcast is to share music. The truth and the spirituality part, those are just add-ons. We just really actually just want to connect with other like-minded people and hear great brand new music, because the radio sucks. I don't know about you, but if you turn the radio on, it's garbage music filled with propaganda and more poison for your mind, right? So we want to give you new outlets and new music that you can vibe with in a non-corrosive way, in an ordered, fun way, not in a chaotic, mind-controlled, Tavistock programmed way. So I'm going to see you guys after this break. Check this out. Check out this new song. Just give me a second. It seems to be failing. This is the first time we've had this. What is going on? Give me 1 second. Well, it's not letting me play the song. This is odd. Give me a second while I try to diagnose this problem. This is crazy. Forgive me for this phantom problem. I don't understand why it's not letting me play my music. Give me a second. And we are back. Problem should be fixed. You guys should have me back up on the screen momentarily. Let's see if this kicks back in. It's saying I have excellent connection. I've got gigabit internet. Okay, we are back. Everything is working again. Don't understand what happened there. Like I said, we are going to go through glitches. Please bear with us. Let's get into this song. I'll see you guys after this break. That's a new one from Patrick Cowley with Technological World. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got everything back on track. Let's get back into the news of the morning. Looking here, we got the last photo of alive Lenin. All right, what is going on with this guy's face? This is scary. I don't know whoever thought this Lenin guy was a good character, and if you'd be following this guy, you'd be straight up crazy. This is a demon in this guy's face. But here you go. We got Lenin. We got the last picture of Lenin alive for you this morning. The background music seems to be a little hot. Let me get that touched up here. Thank you again for tuning in. It's Friday, December 30th. The time is now 7:11 in the Central Standard Time. We've got some more news to get through here, and we'll get into the memes of the morning. This one says 2/3 of UK families could be in fuel poverty by January. Research finds, gee, I wonder why they're going to be in fuel poverty. We've never even heard, again, with the meme that we started with having a higher IQ, understanding things that are variants and pattern recognition, we've never heard the fuel poverty screams and cries. So this is a problem reaction solution. They're creating the fuel poverty so that they can cause more death and destruction in the realm. It's obvious, right? Another map here that makes this Twitter poster very upset is the surveillance cameras in the Dutch lands. Look at all of these surveillance cameras. Why do you think they need to videotape everybody? What do you think the plan is here with all these cameras? I'm going to leave that up to you. Sad, but it is the truth here. Now we're moving on to some more interesting stuff here. The magnetic North Pole, they say, is migrating towards Russia and is speeding up at a rate of travel. And we look here, it's probably Putin's fault. Nonsense. What this is here, they've got the measurements wrong. So as they continue to dial in the correct measurements, the pole they say is moving, but all that's really happening here is they're actually getting more accurate with their measurements. They started off in 1850. What do you think they were measuring the magnetic pole from in 1850? A compass? I don't know. You have to be quite a fool to think that the magnetic North Pole is moving. Right? It's not moving. They're just actually calculating it in a more correct pattern. Moving on here. Have you seen this? This is crazy what they're able to do now. These are dummies. These are just crazy looking dummies. I can't even believe it. They look pretty lifelike. This is crazy. And what do you think that they're using these lifelike dummies for? Right? I'll let you guys be the decider on that. They're not clones. They're just dummies. Okay? They don't have the ability to create clones. They can't even create working products. But anyways, let's move on from this. I just wanted to show people the dummies that are being used to fake war. That's what that's being used for here. It was breaking Japan to lift ban on foreign issued stable coins in 2023. So here we go with the new scam coin. And the news is that Japan is going to allow it basically into their country, right? Stay away from all the Bitcoins and scams. This one says Musk, Zuckerberg, and SBF are on the Guardian's annual list of the worst tech entrepreneurs of the year. Yeah, I would have to agree with this very wholeheartedly. And moving on to Mark Zuckerberg. Let me turn this background music down again. You got to hear what he has to say here about the oversight board or committee with his Facebook. Listen to this.
We created this oversight board. It's an independent board. We appointed people whose paramount value is free expression, and that board actually gets to make the final binding decision, not us. Then you have the question of, are those organizations biased or not? And that's a very difficult question.
Difficult question. Well, let's see. Leftist connected to George Soros, diversity inclusion activist and feminist. Leftist connected to George Soros, claims to be conservative but hates Donald Trump. Anti-Trump libertarian who's called Trump incompetent and a demagogue. He might be all right. Leftist connected to George Soros. 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 Leftist professor who hates Donald Trump. Left-wing activist whose Twitter account is full of anti-Trump hate posts. Former socialist prime minister of Denmark, also connected to George Soros, and Klaus Schwab. Leftist professor connected to George Soros, and he lists his pronouns on Twitter. Muslim feminist activist connected to George Soros who has called Trump a racist. Leftist connected to George Soros. Leftist connected to Kamala Harris and George Soros. Trans rights activist. Leftist lesbian connected to George Soros who quit the board in 2001 to join the Biden administration. Yeah, not that difficult. Pretty sure.
So Facebook has all these people on its so-called oversight board, but what we really want to point out here is they've set Trump up to be the bad man, the bad guy, when all they really want to do, so the solution that they want is control of speech. They want to take away anybody who's able to speak against them because a lie has no power. Truth is a raging lion. It devours anything that is a lie. So they don't want anyone to speak truth. So they put these people up on the board. And it's crazy. Trump was at the WEF meetings with Klaus Schwab. Hand in hand, they walked through and gave speeches and talked. But yet all these people want to come out and pretend like they're against Trump when really Trump is their God. Right? They worship Trump. He is the leader of MAGA, the fifth and highest degree of the Church of Satan. The whole entire thing is both sides are on the same side, and you're not on that side. At least I hope if you're tuned in here, you're not on that side. Moving on here, more retarded clown world news. Due to the storm that's taking place here, we've got one of these politicians coming out. Check this out.
I had to bring in the National Guard.
The National Guard.
The blinding snow, the zero visibility, absolute whiteouts. It may go down as one of the worst in history. People are comparing this to the dreaded blizzard of '77, where Buffalo first got its reputation for having
It snows in Buffalo all the time.
We broke that record again a month ago. So it's very clear to me that the effects of climate change are wreaking havoc everywhere.
So retarded clown world, climate change is not causing it to snow. So first they said it was global warming. Everything was getting hot. Now they're saying that, a bad snowstorm happened, climate change. Pay more taxes, right? That's the agenda. Moving on here. This morning, service members deployed, they say, in El Paso, Texas, constructed a triple-strand criteria barrier north the border to secure the area from illegal crossings. Let's check this out, and I'll give you my take on what I see here. Check this out.
And so I tell you, I'm so impressed. Task Force West got this mission basically on Saturday. And OLS, the staff, was able to move 400 people to El Paso, over 40 vehicles. And what you can see is, they did it in 72 hours.
So there is a law right now, if you don't know, called the Posse Comitatus Law that states that basically no militaries are able to form inside the United States. The military of the United States government is not allowed to do any military actions on their own soil. So right off the bat, they're breaking their own laws they're breaking. And what they're doing is they're constructing barriers and setting up ways to trap people. In the guise of, they think that people are traveling thousands of miles with a bottle of water and brand new sneakers and brand new Nike and Adidas clothes, and they're somehow escaping and coming and moving into the United States of America and taking the white people's jobs. That's the agenda that they're trying to promote. But really what we have here is the military training on ways to fence and border people off.
And their ability to work together is so incredibly impressive.
Impressive, huh?
ESP time was 4 a.m. and they absolutely crushed it.
Bordering in the American people.
They're focused on deterrence. They're focused on sending a message that unlawful crossings is not an option. You've got to go to the POE. And the way they've rolled out this morning...
Are these illegals? Is this supposed to be the illegals escaping into the United States? This is retarded.
This is the totality of the TMD. We've got the Air Guard. Yesterday they brought in 4 C-130s, brought in the rest of the packs, some of the vehicles.
This is all nonsense. Wasted American money. What are they even showing us?
Couldn't do it without them. It's the whole TMD. It's the State Guard, it's the Army Guard, and the Air Guard coming together.
Breaking your own American laws is what you're doing. Building walls, fake walls. It's not bad enough that we have the imaginary borders walling people out, stopping citizens from traveling around the realm because somebody in a governmental position thinks that they own the land. Nobody owns the land. It's all nonsense. And these American military men, there's nobody fighting to cross in the borders. It's all fake theater. And what they're doing is actually training on how to border and block in Americans from leaving. They're not trying to stop anybody from coming here. Don't get this twisted. Moving on here. Is America finally coming out of the, quote, woke coma, end quote, infected by every single time I see Democrats, Hollywood, and sport elitists, the mainstream corporations and liberals, they're just as much to blame as the people on the right. They fuel each other. It's the two wings of the same bird. You could choose one side. They're working together. It says here, the attacks on traditional families, our values, our children are worth defending from those who deem themselves, quote, woke superior. What we got here in this meme says woke. A state of awareness only achieved by those dumb enough to find injustice in everything except their own behavior. If you really want to become unwoked, Dar and whoever these people are that think that this is somehow a left liberal agenda, you need to understand that Trump and all the Republicans are just as much to blame as anybody on the left. Both sides of the government need to be gone. They need to be taken out as quick as possible. Moving on to the next one of the morning. Check this out. Hanging rock. Right? A stone block, they say, or rock, weighing about 600 tons if frozen on the edge of a precipice. So what I wanted to point out here is if the Earth was traveling, flying, wobbling through outer space, how do you think that this rock is able to just balance so perfectly here? It's because the Earth is fixed and immovable. It has never moved, ever. This rock right here is evidence of that. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at the evidence. Moving on here, this one says 1,200 scientists and professionals declare, quote, there is no climate emergency. Sorry, Greta. They're moving on here to state that there is no climate emergency, say the authors, who are drawn from across the world. That was truncated. And led by the Norwegian Physics Nobel Prize laureate professor Ian Gaiver. So they're coming out and stating that all of the climate change science is absolutely nonsense. At least there's other people standing up for it. You know, this is a good representation of what... It's a little bit loud. Look at this guy. And it's not your birthday, but this is hilarious, this guy, the way that he's boxing. This is how sometimes, we have to act so that we can become, people's attention spans are so small now. They have a hard time even getting through a 3-minute TikTok. Imagine trying to take someone through a 3-hour presentation. But yes, we will continue to dance around. We will continue to swing and box, and we will do whatever it takes to get your attention. Even if we have to do it in an annoying way sometimes, we will try to get your attention. This is interesting. This one here states basically, I don't know where he got this number from. He's trying to say that basically 777 books, no, 365 books. That's how many there are. But here we go. Check this out. Should blow your mind.
In the year 325, something happened. Our texts were edited, and we lost tremendous amounts of information. The Emperor Constantine, in the early Christian church, with the early Christian Bible, had to make decisions. What information do we include? What information do we exclude? And what we know now is that at least 45 books were either completely taken away or tremendously edited into what we call today our Western biblical tradition. And when those edits were made, we lost the information that tells us everything is connected. We lost the information that tells us the language that speaks to this field. We know the information was lost because we are now recovering the information.
So it's a good news and a good thing to point out to everybody that, yes, there has been a lot of tampering with the so-called truths and scriptures of history. They've completely mangled it, changed it, taken books out of circulation to create unordered chaos. That's what they wanted to do. This is an interesting topic here that I'm going to be touching upon. We're going to be getting more deep into this topic as we move forward. But do you believe that satellites are up in the sky and they're actually communicating through signals and flying around the Earth? Do you think, if satellites are real, I got a question. Why is it that we're looking right now at CGI graphics? They're all cartoons, no different than the fake blue marble ball Earth that NASA admits that they've CGI'd. Computer-generated graphics. That's what we're seeing here. But something to point out here that you might not know is they designed and built, we call it the DEW line, which stands for the Distant Early Warning Line. Let's take a look at this video here, and you might get a little bit of information you didn't know. Check it out.
Distant Early Warning Line, or DEW line, was a series of radar stations across the Arctic, from Alaska through Canada, over Greenland to Iceland. The Americans conceived of the DEW line to detect enemy bombers coming over the North Pole that could threaten North American cities. back in the early 1950s, the US government determined that they needed a series of radar stations across the Arctic to detect enemy bombers coming over the pole. The US needed Canadian territory to detect the enemy bombers far enough away, so they asked the Canadian government to partner with them. However, the Canadian government had just finished building 2 lines and didn't have the resources really to do another line. So they agreed with the Americans, yes, we need this line, and as long as you pay for it, construct it, we will allow you access to Canadian territory.
So the Americans came in and built the DEW line, keep that in mind, to stop bombers supposedly from bombing, which has never happened. No one has ever flew over and bombed the United States. The Pearl Harbor was a theater. It was fake. It was a bunch of models that they filmed and made movies about. We've covered that extensively.
The DEW line was the largest engineering project of the time in the world. It involved over 30,000 tons of supply. That's like 10,000 rail cars full of supplies that were shipped up here by ship and by aircraft. And the whole thing was done in less than 3 years.
Big construction.
The DEW line was shut down in the late 1980s.
Shut down, huh?
The reason was the technology had changed so much that Canada and US realized they needed a new series of radar stations to replace the DEW line, and that was the birth of the North Warning System.
I put in another system.
Aware of environmental problems at the former DEW line sites in 1989, when both Canada and the United States commissioned environmental studies to see what was the effect of the DEW line. The DEW line cleanup protocol was established with other government departments and the people of the North to determine the risk posed by the DEW line sites. The risk of the DEW line sites was mainly a local risk about 10 kilometers around the sites, and it was caused by contaminated soil and the contents of landfills left on the sites. There was really only a long-term environmental risk to these sites. The contamination of the sites is not...
Just like with your boiling of water to turn turbines, which they call nuclear power, which is ridiculous because it's just the heating up of iron to boil water, and they use an iron that heats up naturally on its own, then they actually apply current and heat it up as well. So what we have now is they said that there was a contamination to the soil. This is absolute clown world nonsense. What they wanted to do was keep everybody away from their DEW line, what do we call these stations? They didn't want anyone to come and figure out what's going on here. So the collaboration of the DEW line, which you bet Russia has the exact same thing all around its northern borders as well. The collection and the usage of the DEW line combined with the modern day towers, the 5G towers and all the other towers, are actually how they're doing the supposed satellites. And then they have underwater sea cables that connect all the different places, all the different islands. We live on a 7-island realm. They're all connected with underground water cables, internet cables underground. And so what they do is they also use the DEW line as well as the towers in conjunction together, and this is how they're able to fake satellites.
Not severe, however, it would have a long-term effect on the ecosystem and on human health. The DEW line cleanup project was established in the early 1990s. It was a national defense project to clean up the former radar sites, to stop the environmental contamination that's on the sites getting into the environment.
So there was no contamination. This is all nonsense again to try to hide the fact that they've built these stations and they're using them. And so the last thing that I'll add to this before I move on is that what we have actually is the ability to bounce. They bounce radio waves, right? That's how, if anyone comes to you and tells you they bounced something off the moon, I would like to know how they were able to get past the same exact systems and technologies that we use to tune in to different things throughout the realm. What we do is aim certain sounds at certain areas in the sky, and they actually bounce. They bounce off the atmosphere, and you're able to tune in to different frequencies and signals all throughout the realm through this technique. So I would like to know, how is it that the satellite signals don't get redirected the same way that every single other signal that we've ever had in the entire history of Earth has been deflected and bounced throughout the ionosphere? But supposedly that doesn't happen. They've concocted this story that they have these floating satellites in outer space, and it's all nonsense. And the floating satellites actually lead you into a bunch of other disinformation topics. It's just like a one step into a further deterioration of your intellect. Moving on from that point here, this is an interesting build. Would you be able to drive across this bridge? I wouldn't trust it, but this guy did. Check this out. I'd be sketched out. I guess he could survive if he fell in the water. The truck wouldn't, though. I could not drive across that. I don't know about you guys. No way. Mm-mm.
Evet arkadaşlar 20
He made it. He made it. He made it. He made it. Would you be able to make it across that bridge is the question I leave you. This one here, they're stating crypto's 15 wealthiest titans collectively lost 116 billion last year. So no, they didn't lose 116 billion. It was the small people, the regular people that put their money into the Bitcoins that actually lost. The people, these owners, these wealthiest crypto people, they got out of it way before they crashed it. It was a Ponzi scheme set up to actually take the money from regular people. Your money, your property, your possessions, and your time. That's what crypto was actually designed to do. So don't be fooled by these headlines stating that these people are all losing all of their money. Yeah, no, the regular people got burned. And they're going to put these people up here. They're going to say that they lost their money so that the little guy doesn't have anywhere to put his blame, right? They're just trying to pass judgment off here. Don't be fooled by it. This one here, President Putin tells state TV he has been willing, yes, to negotiate an end to the war, but it looks like others don't want the peace talks. So they need to have the perpetual fake war so that they can cause fear, so that they can tax you more. There's so many agendas that they're rolling out with this theater of war right now. It would take me 4 hours to even touch the surface of what their agendas are. But we can clearly see Putin gets to be the good guy. He's the good guy. He's coming to save the day. It's ridiculous that he's able to come on TV here like this. Say he's willing to create a deal to end this war. Look at this duping delight on his face. It's all about protecting his citizens. I could go on and I'm going to move on from this. We still have a lot to get to. But don't be fooled by the East versus West. It's just them versus us. Don't get that twisted. Moving on here, Rudy, if you don't know about it, he is their guy showing exactly who he cucks out to. Don't be fooled if you think Rudy Giuliani is somehow fighting for truth and freedom too. No, he's doing exactly what he has to do to get paid. Apparently Serbia now joining into the war here. We got some videotape of Red Cross military vehicles in Serbia now. We don't know what's going to happen from this, but they are arming up, and we don't even know if this is new. This could be footage from 5 years ago. It could just be a drill. We don't know, but we're seeing news and footage coming out that Serbia is going to join in somehow into this war. Moving on here, have you seen the Northern Lights? Do you know what the Northern Lights are? The Aurora Borealis is their technical name. Do you know what they are? Have you seen them? That's a rhetorical question I'm going to leave with you guys for the weekend. Here we go. This one says the lights of the Norwegian Arctic mountains. There's some really good Norwegians out here, and this is beautiful. I don't even know how they were able to capture this. But it looks beautiful to me. And we wanted to show you guys that picture too. Today's APOD, right, from NASA shows an image of a mine taken on my recent trip to Norway. It features a famous mountain and a very cool thing around it called the Full Circle Rainbow. Now, I don't know if this is real, but it looks cool. It's well graphically designed. I would like to check this place out myself. We're almost done the news of the morning. Have you ever wondered why smiling is so rare in old photographs? If we look down here. So if you can see, so they go on to state that it had to do with people who wanted to have a seriousness to their portraits. But I'll interject here that the reason that they were keeping straight faces is because photography back then, you actually had to stay in that pose for hours and hours. And the easiest way to remain the same facial expression was to not smile. It was to just have a relaxed facial feature, and then over a certain amount of time that image would get burned into whatever it is that you used as film, and then they were able to process these pictures. But I thought it's cool because if you look into the pictures of the 1800s, you're going to find that they weren't really smiley. They were very calm and very steady in the pictures. I thought that was interesting. It's crazy to look at how far we've actually come in just a small amount of time here. This study here says transgenders have 4.5 times higher rate of psychiatric illness than the normal people. So if you know anybody that's been polluted mentally over this transgender agenda, you should get them to reach out, seek help, and start to become who they truly are and love themselves again. That's another thing that we try to do here on the Rise and Grind Morning Show, is to teach self-love and self-worth. Then you won't be interested in these other types of agendas. Unfortunately, here we go. This was a tweet of the died suddenly, right? They were trying to say, oh, to be fair, you know, he did die. He had substance abuse. Some musician died of a heart attack suddenly. And they're trying to state that he was a drug addict. And you can see here, the account is gone. Elon Musk deleted this account this morning. It's gone. We had a bunch prepared to show you from that, but we weren't able to. This tweet goes on to state, or this is an article coming off of Just the News. Judge approves $10 million in a class action settlement over mandatory cerveza jabolas. If you haven't seen this, people are actually starting to win court cases against the dis and mis and malinformation campaign put on by your very own governments too. I'm going to turn the music down again. We got another video to check out. This one's interesting. It says here, watch before it gets deleted. It's a big club. Check this out.
Some more. Joseph Stalin. He was Illuminati. He was a member of the Grand Orient Lodge. Leon Trotsky, Grand Orient Lodge. Kissinger is a member, Committee of 300. J. Edgar Hoover, 33. Cecil John Rhodes. Aleister Crowley. Walt Disney was a 33-degree Freemason. Olive Palm, Al Gore, Tony Blair, Joseph Mengele. That's interesting. That's the mass murderer of the Nazis. He was Illuminati. Robert McNamara. You name it, they're all there. Billy Graham. Oops, sorry, let's move on. Colonel John Glenn, Buzz Aldrin. Everyone who's ever been up in space has to be a Freemason of the highest degrees. Edgar Mitchell, all the way through. Francis Bacon, Lord David Owen, all the negotiators, Richard Halbrook. I'm just running through some of them. Alan Greensprang, Peter Wallenberger. Queen Elizabeth is the queen of the Bilderbergers. Prince Philip, Queen Beatrix, she's the Committee of 300. Prince Bernard of the Netherlands, Committee of 300. And so we go on and on and on and on. Ted Kennedy, Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, Deng Hui, Baron von Rothschild. Hillary Clinton is 6 grand dame. She's a very high Freemason.
Right.
Albert Pike, of course, you know. Bertrand Russell, Otto von Habsburg, Weishaupt, all the way back. Here is Edgar Hoover. President Dwight D. Eisenhower there honors him with the 33 Grand Cross at the special.
So, did you know that all those people were actually Freemasons? And Hillary Clinton and every astronaut that's ever faked space had to be of the highest order because they've swore death oaths. They know that these people will do their bidding because they don't want to die. They don't want to be killed, and they want to continue to be paid. So, yes. Moving on to something a little more interesting. Have you ever seen how the vinyl record was made? This is interesting. What they do is they create a mold, and then they pour the vinyl in. Check this out. I think it's cool. Presses it up, slices it off. Hot off the press, they would say. Dub plate pressure. You could get a record. It would come straight from the press. Here is the vinyl press that they talk about in the rave music. It's great. There's how they press vinyl. They stamp the sound waves into the vinyl material themselves, and then through the needle it's actually able to give you the sound. If you haven't seen, again, so they put the vinyl, gets put into the press. It must be hot. Presses it down, and then they move it to this station and it trims off the edges. That is how a dub plate is made, for anybody that doesn't know. Moving on here, we're almost done here. Never touch my wife, it says. Do not grab chickens like this. It's not going to go well for you. You better put it down, bro. What you think you're trying to do? Leave the chickens alone. Moving on here. Modern agriculture machinery. Check this out. This is pretty cool. Cuts the tree down, shaves it. This one here is putting out some sod. And he's planting at the same time. Boom, this is how we can replant trees. This guy's harvesting, right? Look at that machine. Wrapping some hay. Don't want to get your foot caught in that machine. Wow. Wow, that's an interesting way they did that. I didn't know they did that. There's turning the dirt. Planting seeds. Some great tools here. Trimming up the brush along the roads. Wow. Apple harvester. Check that out. It's pretty cool. I've never seen one of these before. Harvesting. Doing his toes. They're doing his nails. Poor cow. Pulling out trees. Bunch of great stuff I find very fascinating. We're always trying to find cool inventions and other things that we don't normally get to see. Moving on, we've got a few left here. Have you ever seen this way to thread a needle? Now, I know it can be tough sometimes. I've had some hard times threading needles. Check this out. Just get the toothbrush, put the thread along it, and push down. Get your pin, pull up, and you can tie your thread, right? What an interesting way to thread a needle. I thought that was fascinating. This one here says, work smart, not hard, right? That's what we try to promote here, working smart. Most things that were created were invented because people are lazy. There's a little bit difference between working smart and working lazily, but this is a great way to remove snow off of your buildings, right? You just push this tarp through the snow and it just slides off due to the frictionless activity of this plastic substance. That's a great way to get the snow off your roofs so that they don't collapse. Here's some great work here. This is how great workers work, okay? Look at that throw, boom. And obviously this takes a lot of practice to do any of these moves. You have to, these guys do it all day, every day, and then they get to the point where they've got to use these types of techniques. That guy just pulled a crazy move. This guy's able to throw switch hammers and swing in the same time. Giving some respect to people and their skills, their hands. Later today, we'll be going to put on some trim, some baseboard today. That's what we're at too, and it's nice and easy. We're happy about that. All of our doors are installed. Sometimes you have to use extreme measures when you have extreme jobs to do, right? This guy, what? Throwing that on the wall like that? I've never seen anyone do that before, but that is a quick way to mastic up the wall. This guy's doing his thing, folding his box, boom, 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 boom. He's working fast, man. That's the kind of worker we want to have on our team. A couple more and we're out. We're in the next song break here. I never seen anything like this at the Pearson Airport in Toronto. I grew up in Toronto, been to the airport many times. Look at these poor people trying to travel. This is what the New World Order brings you. This is what they cause. Of course, there was the crazy weather and storm that just happened to hit on the Xmas time. But as you can see here, it was just a disaster. For anybody out there, don't try to travel during these times. Stay home, stay warm, stay in happy places with you and your family. That's the best way to go. And that's it for the morning news of the morning. Let's get into a song, and I'm going to see you with more memes right after this.
I don't want your body, but I hate to think about you with somebody else. Our love is gone cold, you intertwine your soul with somebody else. And I can do right, I can do fine, yeah, somebody else. No, I don't want your body, but I picture your body with somebody else. So I heard you found somebody else, and at first I thought it was a lie. I took all my things that make sense, the rest I can do without. I don't want your body, but I hate to think about you with somebody else. Our love is gone cold, you intertwine your soul with somebody else. And I can do right, I can do fine, yeah, with somebody else. No, I don't want your body, but I picture your body with somebody else. I'm coming, baby. This ain't the last time that I see your face. I'm coming, baby. say you find someone to take my place. I just don't believe that you have got it in you, 'cause we are just gonna keep doing it every time. I start to believe in everything you're saying. I'm reminded that I should be getting over it. I don't want your body, but I hate to think about you as somebody else. Our love is going cold, you intertwine your soul with somebody else. I'm looking through your eyes, looking through your phone, living with somebody else. No, I don't want your body, but I picture your body with somebody else.
That was a great cover. If you haven't heard it before, that was Vancouver Sleep Clinic with a cover of 1975's Somebody Else. I just have to get back into my memes program. They had shut me down. You hackers, everything that thinks that you're going to be able to stop me, I've got another thing coming for you. You are not going to be able to stop me. I'm never going to quit. I'm going to continue to try my best and come up with new ways to continue to share the content, no matter what you try to do to me. And I've got to get all this resized. They crashed my program on me. Let's see if I've got it back in position now. Let's check it out. Let's see here. I'll do some slight adjustments on the fly. I don't know what they're trying to do here. But they are trying to stop us from putting on content. They hack into our systems. They try to slow us down. They cause all these different problems. And we're not going to have it here. Me trying to dodge people's shadow projections, that one says. It's truncated. I've got to find my spot again in the podcast where we were here. And I found it, making sure that everything is properly on the screen, and it is. Okay, so we're able to keep going here. This one says, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. And that's coming out of the scriptures here from Proverbs 31:8. If you haven't seen that, now you have. And that's what we do here. We speak for those that cannot speak for themselves. I need to focus a little bit more clear here. Don't know why it's giving me such a problem. This one says, the formal scientific definition of a theory is quite different from the everyday meaning of the word. It refers to a comprehensive explanation of some aspect of nature that is supported by a vast body of evidence. Many scientific theories are so well established that no new evidence is likely to alter them substantially. For example, no new evidence will demonstrate that the Earth does not orbit around the sun, heliocentric theory, or that living things are not made up of cells, which is cell theory, or that matter is not comprised of atoms, or that the surface of the Earth is not divided into solid plates that have moved over geological timescales. This is the theory of plate tectonics. Like these other foundational scientific theories, the theory of evolution is not supported by so many observations and confirming experiments that science then think that they're confident enough that the basic components of the theory will not be overturned by any new evidence, right? However, like all scientific theories, the theory of evolution is subject to, yes, a continuing refinement as new areas of science emerge or as new technologies enable observations and experiments that were not possibly previously possible. So the theory of anything is just a theory, and it continues to properly be challenged. And that is how we do science. We do it through questioning, observing, and retesting things. All of the things that are listed in this here meme aren't real. They're not. They're fake. They're made up nonsense that are brought to you and sold to you by the very same people that want to take away your freedoms, right? Plate tectonics is nonsense. No one's seen continents move away. Okay? There are no actual evidence or proof of atoms. None. There's no atom proof. Right? The Earth does not orbit. It's never been proven to move. So be careful which theories you believe in. This one here says, the Discovery Channel still hasn't discovered that the Earth is flat. Think about it. Notice something about these, quote, science shows. They never seem to address some topics. Some topics they like, but some topics not so much. The Discovery Channel sure does love to analyze space and stuff, doesn't it? But Earth not having an observable curve and gravity absolutely not adding up are not topics they feel they should worry us with. The History Channel keeps analyzing things that happened supposedly 1 million years ago, like the pyramids, which are like less than 200 years old. but doesn't seem to like to analyze the current fake pandemic we are going through. Wasn't it a part of history? Nah. Let's go watch some UFOs, the meme says here. Called programs for a reason. You are not being informed. You're being manipulated and programmed to think a certain way / believe certain things. Turn off the manipulation devices and see the world for the way that it is. Great meme. I like that. This one here says, a super big part of becoming an adult is unlearning a lot of the stuff that you were taught, right? By people who didn't know what they were doing either. Unlearning and relearning is a sign of someone who is truly evolving, a spiritual being that is continuing on and that will continue on forever. So don't be too hard on yourself for things that you were taught by people that had no idea what they were teaching you. Right? They were just doing what they were told. But it's on you now to reverse that, to unlearn the negative things and to start to learn the positive truths. This one's really important. I really want to try to slow down, calm myself down here. I'm racing, I'm rushing, dealing with all these technical issues this morning. They love to try to stop me from doing what I do, and I'm never going to stop. This one here simply states, if we set the precedent of letting politicians use science as an excuse to take away basic human rights like freedom of speech, freedom of travel, and medical autonomy, they will perpetually manufacture science in order to keep citizens powerless. This is obvious, right? They created governments, they created borders, they started divisions. It's all about dividing. We're all humans. We are all brothers and sisters. And as soon as you start saying, nah, I'm Ukraine, I'm Canadian, I'm Russian, I'm this, I'm that, you create divisions. Divisions with skin color, divisions with eye color, divisions between men and women. But the big problem that we need to address here is that politicians don't have a right over anybody's life. They were put in positions to help bring the people's word. So they had to have politicians in times where there was horsebacks. So the town would get one person to ride the 3-day journey and to take their information for them. And if those politicians that went there and came back and lied and did things against the people, they rolled them in hot tar and put feathers all over them. Right? That's what happened when a politician didn't do what they were supposed to. Nowadays, it's just absolute. They've gone just crazy, wild, satanic. Everything is completely adversarial to things that are natural. So if we continue to allow politicians and crooks like Bill Gates to bring in these stupid ass fake viruses, they're never going to give us our freedom of travel. They're never going to allow us to put what we want into our own bodies. This is just going to continue to spiral until enough people stand up and say no more. Very good meme. I like it. And I did used to read the Berenstain Bears books. It's not Berenstain. Moving on here. Me waiting for the people to apologize for being a-holes when I didn't trust the science. I don't trust any science. I do my own investigation and observation. And I want to promote that to you guys on the other side of the screen too. You're not going to get an apology. Don't be looking. NASA is not going to come out and tell you that they never went to the moon. Ever. They're never going to do it. A politician is not going to tell you that they did what they had to get paid. They're not going to do it. This meme says, those who fear the darkness have no idea what the light could do, right? Don't fear the darkness. Don't fear your shadow. Embrace it. Comfort yourself through those times. This one's funny. It says, you got your 2 shots. You've got your 2 boosters. You're double masked, and yet nothing has changed 3 years in. Right here. How stupid do you feel? You don't feel stupid at all. Why? That's because you're actually really stupid. It's sad. It's true. And the people that are out here informing others are put to the bottom of the feeds, and they're put into sandboxes where nobody can find us. This one says Florida from the ISS, the imaginary space station. Apparently, Florida has grown to take up a quarter of the northern hemisphere, if you haven't known or seen, right? Wow. It's just huge. Thanks, NASA. This one says blue and yellow. Yes. What color do they make? They make green, right? That's all it is. A big money scam. Moving on from this one. This one says, because of this lie, we talked about it, satellites, because of satellites and the globe Earth, the globe Earth has perpetuated your belief in fake dinosaurs, fake aliens, caveman did not exist, is nonsense, and many other lies like satellites and the theory of evolution and the Big Bang. Everything coming into creation in one instance from nothing. With no creator. That's what the atheists believe. And lo and behold, the ball earth theory, this entire theory was born so that atheists could actually have something to believe in. Because when you live on a flat plane, you absolutely know that you were created. And all actual globe earth believers, if they didn't know it, are raging Kabbalists. The ball earth theory was a Kabbalistic notion that was brought in through the Vatican, who happened to be the highest level Kabbalists. The Vatican Jesuit ordained priests and all their other nonsense names are actually heavy Kabbalists. They believe in things like fake invisible spinning balls on a large scale, and then when they zoom in, they say that there's tiny spinning balls, but you can't observe any of it. And that's how they've formed the notion of the heliocentric model. It's Kabbalism. Don't get that twisted. Just figure that out as soon as possible. Moving on here. We just like to say, dear plexiglass, thank you for protecting us from the cashier who just touched absolutely every single thing that we're taking home. This period in time in history is going to be known as the dumbest ages. And it is. We got smartphones and stupid people. This one here is a little bit alarming here. Vaccine passport has been expired. Your phone cannot make or receive calls. Access to the internet has been turned off. Banking or travel pass services until it has been updated. Would you like to schedule a visit to the nearest vaccination center? No, don't do it. And this is what's on the horizon if we continue to allow these fake, crooked politicians to do what they do and the fake scientists to promote the nonsense thing. Now, if you don't know, an AI chatbot is nothing more than a chatbot that has been programmed to write and say what it does. It doesn't have a mind of its own. Go ahead and ask if Biden stole an election. The elections were rigged and fixed on both sides. The Trump team are the ones who did the mules. They fixed the election against themselves. That was the whole entire scam. Go ahead and ask the chatbots who was on the Epstein's flight log. See what the chatbots say. It's a pretty good supposition. I'd like you guys to try it. Moving on here. The central banks of these countries, all over this page here, are owned by the Rothschilds, and people are going to try to tell me that that Elon Musk is the richest person. And the name Elon is a conglomeration of Donald and Elon because Jared Kushner is using the two of them together to psyop the people. But yes, Rothschild family owns all of these countries' banks. Who do you think has the most money? It's retarded that anyone would believe that Elon Musk is the richest world in the man and not Jacob Rothschild. This one says, we'll do the job slowly and quietly. Hardly anyone will even know that it's an H-cost. Right? This is what's going on. It's clear. It's obvious. And we've got the evidence here, and we're going to show you later in this meme section. It says it takes a lifetime of indoctrination to accept this as reality. This right here. To believe that somebody's living upside down on a spinning sphere, flying, wobbling, hurling through space, yet the stars are exactly the same. At nighttime, you will always see... It doesn't matter if it's 6 months, 3 months at a time, you will always see the North Star in the northern hemisphere and Sigma Octans in the south. You will always see the same constellations revolving around those two stars, as well as along the ecliptic path. If we were spinning and turning through space, we would see a completely different star, a completely different sky. Every 3 months, every 6 months, as the Earth spun, we would see something completely different, looking away from the sun. But this isn't what we see. We see the same stars every single night. They do rotate and they do change their position, but we don't see anything different. Moving on here. Did you notice the shift in the narrative? This one's dealing with a little bit of Twitter nonsense here. It says, how the blue check celebrities are telling obvious truths like there are only two genders or only women can give birth, stating obvious things that all of us know. And this is now considered bravery. How the, quote, good politicians that will be winning elections are removing restrictions that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Removing obviously wrong laws is now considered bravery, right? How now it's okay to joke about Bill Gates microchipping people via when in fact people died, lost their jobs, families were destroyed, lives lost, people were murdered in hospitals. Joking about it is now considered comedy. How about that? Welcome to 2023 almost, right? We're getting closer to it. And the time now is 7:59 a.m. in the Central Standard Time, Friday, December 30th. This here, it's all just a big coincidence, it says. Right? Looking here. I don't know what's going on with this. Now something's tried to mess with my sound. We're going to continue on here. We will be getting into another song break soon enough, if you guys hold tight. Yeah, it's back on now. So if we zoom in here, if we look a little closer, we can see the signs and symbols that rule the realm. They have for a long time. This is how the secret elites communicate to each other with the fallen angels. They do it through signs and symbols, the compass and square that forms gay. They say that they're gay. You got the symbolism in baseball and all of these different buildings, the Pentagon. Everything forms all different types of signs and symbols. And all you have to do is really open your eyes, and you can pick these different signs and symbols out for yourself. You don't need to have a degree in researching to figure out that all of this is colluding. It's all working together to form what we have now, a totalitarian system that basically takes away all our freedoms, all of our rights, is trying to ruin the futures, right, of all the youth that are growing up now. They're trying to take it away. They're trying to destroy it, but we're not going to let that happen. We're going to continue to fight back. Let's get into another song break, and I will see you guys after this.
When I was going through the city, looked nothing like you. Swear I try to fight it, but really I can't hide it, 'cause no one can ever compare to you. No girl could ever come close to the feeling you gave me the most. In my stomach, and waves that don't plummet. Please just stay right by my side, 'cause there's no one else like you.
That's the new one from Eric Dale with Seattle. New chart topper. Let's get back into some more memes of the morning. Sorry to disappoint you, New World Order, but you cannot stop us. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do to stop us. We will continue to speak the truth, and we're going to get better at this. You just got to give us a little bit of time. This one says, types of gangsters. We got on the top here, amateurs. We got in the middle, intermediates. We got in here, professionals. Now we got into the Godreal mode, right? If this isn't self-evident, I don't know what is. We're almost through. We got a bunch more still, but we're just going to try to slow it down. I sometimes get into a bit of a rush here, and I don't want to do that here. It says, notice something about TV? When no one was actually very sick or dying, they were broadcasting it 24/7, right? Over and over again to make it seem like they were. Now, when people are actually very sick or dying, all you get is crickets from the mainstream media and censorship on Twitter. The supposed freedom of speech place are taking down anybody that's showing the died suddenlies. They're taking them down. It was gone this morning. I had a whole presentation ready to go on Twitter. Gone. Thank you, Elon. It's called broadcasting for a reason. The media is paramount to the devil, or Azazel. He can only deceive. That's all Azazel can do, is tell lies. That's it. So he always needs our attention in order to deceive us. When you look away from his lies, he can't fool you anymore. We saw how the magic trick is done. The deception is no longer working. We see through the lies. It's true. He'll try to get on us on social media now. So he's going to try to infiltrate into different truth-speaking venues, which they've done for a long time. You got to be careful who you follow, right? It's just like on the TV. You are now shown, viral video proof of something. You have to be critically investigating every single thing that you see. Turn off the spellcasting devices, please. Analyze between each other on social media and question everything. Let's start using it for what it's meant for. Good meme. I appreciate that one. This one says, Hollywood lost more than $500 billion in market value in 2022. How about that? This is good. But they print the money, so they don't care. They'll bring it up. They've actually ruined Hollywood. It's been a slow, steady destruction of Hollywood, and we're still seeing it as we go forward. And they're going to continue to destroy things and create worse content. That's all you see is people that aren't artistic, that aren't talented, that aren't emotional are promoted to the top. They want as much bad content, bad music. That's all they're doing. They're trying to ruin everything. That's been the goal of the New World Order and Azazel for a very long time. This one here is very important. It says hidden fact, right? It says the main role of the male is to be the protector of society and first the family unit. This role is achieved with the biological advantage of we have what's called testosterone, the hormone that boosts confidence, enhances physical strength, and mental acuity. It goes on to state here, one of the most destructive yet rarely discussed effects of fluoride in the water supply and the toothpaste and many other products is, yes, a lowered testosterone and endocrine disruption. So what it does is, a dumbed down population is much easier to control. But more significantly, a weakened, docile beta male will not fight back against the injustice due to the lack of vitally important hormones. This is the part of the plan that we cannot let continue. So the way that men can fix this is through working out, lifting weights, building things with their hands, through our proper diet, through what we eat, through training our bodies and treating them as special temples where our soul is housed in. Through exercise and through proper diet, we can build back the testosterone that you might have lost. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of work and a bit of pain in hurting your muscles. And then what happens is your testosterone will be boosted. And then you won't be a beta male cuck and you can join in the fight because you are needed out there. All the men, you are needed. You need to speak up for those that cannot speak for themselves. Moving on here, this one's interesting. It says, this is a rock reflecting sunlight right here. This right here is a glowing heavenly body. If you get those two confused, I can't help you. It's simple. The two are not acting in any way similar, right? This one states, man dies following heart attack, possibly triggered by excitement while watching Avatar 2. We went to the Freemasonic Museum here in Austin, Texas. Right on the corner block, it says the Freemasons built this stupid-ass monument in this museum to watch this movie last weekend. And we left halfway through it. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. Maybe there's other people out there that enjoy the story. They're trying to make it like against the natives and the bad American military and this and that. But the truth of it is absolutely just loaded with mind-controlled Tavistock propaganda. I'm not even going to get into it, but I don't recommend that anybody watch this, nor do I recommend that you share it with your children. It's traumatizing over and over and over again. It's just trauma. I would stay as far away from this movie as possible. Moving on, I bet you haven't seen these symbols. These are talismans of the Knights Templar, another secret society that we don't usually talk about, that we do want to talk about. If you see anybody wearing any of these pins, right, you need to run away from them as fast as possible. Anybody in their artwork on YouTube or TikTok or wherever it is that you get your social media content, be very weary of anybody promoting any of these symbols. Take a screenshot if you have to. Learn these symbols and stay away from them, please, as much as you possibly can. This one says the Roman Empire never fell. It changed its name to Christianity, or in a modern day term, Catholicism, right? That's the Jesuit Catholic group. And not only that, but if you look into the Jesuitical oath, they swear oaths to blend into every single society. You'll have Jesuits that are atheists, Jesuits that are Christians, Jesuits that are tiny hat wearing Torah keepers. You will find them everywhere. Rome never fell, right? They just rebranded to supposedly Christianity and now modern day Catholicism. And you can see what's wrong with that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. This one says, things are about to get ugly. The devil or Azazel can only deceive. Oh, we already did this one. Sorry, moving on. This one says, I hate guns unless I'm making millions off of my movies. If you saw his pathetic performance in El Paso, or I don't think it was in necessarily El Paso, but the southern Texas state, he came on and did one of the worst acting jobs I've ever seen to try to promote a fake shooting to further the New World Order's agenda. That's what he did. Matthew McConaughey is a clown who I would love to debate anytime, anywhere. I'm in Texas, you're in Texas. Let's make this happen. We do have some more music to share with you guys this morning. So I think this is another good opportunity for let's get in another song, and I'll see you guys after this.
Falling and I never learn. The same flame and I'm always hurt, picking my pieces from the ashes on the floor. Push away, but it's killing me. Smoke lungs when I try to breathe, filling me up with doubt to hold them in my core. Oh, when you're here, oh, it burns and nothing I felt before. Oh, when you're here, oh, when you're near. Oh, it burns and nothing I felt before. But nothing I felt before. And I'm terrified. Distrust when I'm on a high, I can't stop. So I'm here waiting on the fall. Pull me close and it's hard to leave. I didn't think I could ever feel something like this, and now I know I need it all. Oh, when you're here, oh, it burns and nothing I felt before. Oh, when you're here, oh, when you're near. Oh, it burns like nothing I felt before. Like nothing I felt before.
And that was the new chart topper. That was by Far Known with his new hit single, Burns. I really like that one. Beautiful song to get us going to the next section of the morning show. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get back into the memes of the morning. This one here, it says, imagine how much propaganda it took to convince the masses that these people are the problem here and not the crooks like these. Imagine how much money it took. Imagine, think about it, honestly, to make people think that this guy right here was actually cared about you, that he was fighting for your freedom, or this guy, or this guy, or this guy who created faulty software and then sold you the antivirus program to fix the faulty software that he sold you. Now he's coming out with his new faulty software fixer, right? Don't get it twisted. It took a lot of money and a lot of time for Azazel to bring these puppets up here and make you think these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. Right? It's crazy, but unfortunately it's true. Sad. The mycorrhizal network. This is something that I would like to do more studies in. We're going to move forward into the spring as we're going to learn more about this. But what we have here is a mycorrhizal fungi are in a symbiotic relationship with plants. The fungus provide the plant with water and minerals from the soil, and the plants provide the fungus with photosynthesis products. So what we see here in this picture, right? It's hard for me to see the words, but what we have is like things like fungus and mushrooms and other types of things then connect through a network here underground through the root systems to help with bacteria, with fungi, and with things that the soil needs. They work in a symbiotic relationship. So we need to not get rid of the mushrooms and fungus. We want to promote the growth, right? So through watering and minerals and photosynthesis, all these products are introspecting with each other and communicating. This is something that is not talked about very much, and we will like to get into a deeper dive into this as we move forward. This is just, we're starting to learn about the different networks slowly. Moving on here, a home remedy for arthritis and gout. If you're suffering from any of these problems here, it says take half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder with 1 teaspoon of organic honey twice a day, 30 minutes before meals. It's simple. It's not hard to do. You can also make a tea by steeping 1 teaspoon of crushed cinnamon for 7 to 10 minutes and then adding 1 teaspoon of honey. So I strongly recommend that you get the actual cinnamon sticks, not the powders or anything bought in the store. Just get the natural stuff and make it yourself. You just grate it, right? If you don't have a mechanical one, you can use a cheese grater. You can still grate the cinnamon down into edible sizes for anybody suffering from gout or arthritis, which is a common thing. This one here says, you are warm today because of a coal mine and a pipeline, right? Not because of these solar panels. This has got to be some of the worst technology. Now, they are getting better. Jason is working on the free energy technologies, and he's saying that they've come pretty far with the technology in solar panels. They're actually making a decent amount of power, and they last a decent amount of time. So that's good news that we're going to be building some of this technology into some of the constructions that we're going to be doing in the spring, or as soon as possible. Moving on here, it says, why are these war protest videos? Where are these war protest videos coming from? Right? Let's think about this. And why are there so few of them? Right? China has billions of people with billions of phones with cameras. It says here they literally build them. 1 second. So we should be bombarded with videos / pictures from there, but we are not. It says here, and they tell you that North Korea and China are isolated and secluded from the rest of the realm. That's what they say. Well, it seems to me that we are no different. The information we are given is clearly selected or called free speech. So is it real then? Can you trust what you see to be real and things that are happening? We are being manipulated on a scale that's unimaginable to most people. It is a grand manipulation scale. This is why they push for, yes, they call it globalization. There is no globe, but they use the word globe, okay? You have no idea even what's going on in the next room beside you. You have no idea what's going on in the next floor in your own house or in the house next to yours or in the house down the street, let alone what's going on in another country across the realm. Remember that Ukraine also has millions of people with cameras, right? Where are the footage from all the average citizens? If something happens in the sky here in North America, you're going to see 10,000 videos, 100 TikToks, 30,000 tweets, Facebook live streams. You're going to see it everywhere, right? Well, this guy goes on to state, I know a Ukrainian guy from Odessa who a few weeks ago went back there, bought a car and came back. He said, the F kind of war is that? I'm just going to head back to the war zone. I'm going to pick me up a cheap car and I'm going to head back out of the war zone. The news said Ukraine is 80% without power, and this guy that went there said maybe half, which is still a lot. They've shut the power off. So don't be fooled. Don't trust anything that you see. Think critically and become a higher raise your IQ through learning pattern recognition and through questioning what you're told. That's the simple way I can put this. We're about to come into one of the saddest parts of the morning. We're almost there. This one says, one day many will hang their heads in shame when they realize the evil that they defended and the heroes that they ridiculed. Are you ridiculing heroes and defending heroes? Are you someone out there supporting the government or the military or anything like that? You need to check who it is that you're supporting, because they both work together and all they're trying to do is launder money and create situations of power and control. They print the money. It's not about the money. It's about the control and the power and the restriction of our abilities in this realm. That's what they're doing, and they're winning because there's not enough people who stand up and fight back. And that's what we try to do here at this Rise and Grind. And we try to do it with a spiritual aspect too. So now into the saddest part of the morning show here. Died suddenly this week. It says Taylor Hawkins, for 25 years, was the drummer for the Foo Fighters and, yes, best friend of frontman Dave Grohl, has died during a South American tour with the rock band. He was only 50 years young. That's pretty young to be dying of a heart problem. Foo Fighters required their bandmates to, yes, get jabola'd in order to play. Right? How about that? Moving on, there's more. We got more of this. Stefan Bonner, who's one of my favorite UFC fighters. I enjoyed watching him on the UFC Fighter Season 1. That was back when I was actually training to actually go on the show, and unfortunately I didn't really want, I'm not big into hurting people just for fun, but if I did want to do it, Stefan was somebody that I looked up to. He was a very talented mixed martial artist, dead from heart complications at only 45 years old after taking the cerveza jabolas, which you're not going to hear about, and everyone on Twitter that shared this has been taken down. Go figure, right? Next one here, super sad here. Dubstep producer DJ Benga collaborated with Darren Walsh, has died at just the young age of 40. Just died suddenly. Healthy people just dropping dead. Look at this next one. All these people died suddenly. I could have made 20 of these, right? Sadly, but it is true. Look, all died suddenly this week. All these people that I'm showing you died from heart attacks. They were young. Some of them were super athletic. Cops, firemen, musicians, DJs. Everybody that's taken the jabola now, it's starting to happen. They're starting to die. Right? It's true. And there's nothing that we can do to get away from it. We're going to show the truth. I'm going to come back after this song. And that was Blind Scream and Yerby with Watch the Moon. That has to be one of the best new dubstep tracks coming out into the realm right now. And I was super excited to play that one. Back into the final portion of the memes of the morning. This meme says, when the world is falling apart, but you're trying to stay positive, right? That's all we can do, right? Try to have a laugh, try to share some truth, and try to share with each other a little bit of our hearts. To be vulnerable, right? That's all we can do. This one says, there will be haters, there will be doubters, there will be non-believers, and then there will be you, proving them all wrong. So keep doing what you're doing, keep fighting for truth. I see everybody on the social medias, I'm watching, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you that are out here fighting for truth. My heart, you guys have no idea how much it means to me to see people fighting back, not complying, standing up for the freedoms and the future. You got to fight for the future. I'm just thankful that you're out here. This one here is a little bit funny. It says, this could be us, right? But you're stuck in a trauma bond with toxic social programming that feels, quote, normal, end quote, but actually keeps your soul suspended in a low vibrational force field while you simultaneously make fun of any benevolent attempt to bring the situation to your attention, right? This is something that we all actually deal with. When people are confronted with some things that they're not doing right or that they could do better, they usually get a wall gets built up and they run from it. But I want to try to bring back that we can work together to beat these social, we can become an evolved, loving group of humans together. We don't need to follow the stupid New World Order. We can break free together. This one's a more beautiful poetic type post. It says, I can see the reflection of my heart in her eyes. At my lowest points, she mirrors my shadowy mood. She reaches through her own light and into my darkness to remind me that I am never alone and that we are in this together, no matter what this might be. I felt that one deeply. This one says, don't let negative and toxic people rent space in your heads. Raise the rent and kick them out. Stay around people that are high vibrational, loving beings that are focused on fighting for the truth. This one says, but the only meaningful thing that we can offer one another is love, not advice, not questions about our choices, not suggestions for the future, but just simply love. Just simply go around and love each other. It's not easy to do because you have to be vulnerable, but you can do it on the other side of the screen. Just keep doing it. Because every pain teaches us a lesson, and every lesson changes a person. So be wise with what you're allowing to teach you and change you. Be smart with your decisions, please. This one says, every soul has a twin, a reflection of themselves, the kindred spirit. No matter where they are or how far away they are, even in different dimensions, they will always find another. This is destiny, and this is love. And it's true. So don't worry if you haven't found your other soul, your twin. They're there. You can feel them in your heart. And we're all designed to have the balance together with a man and woman. That's how we were created. So don't be fooled. This one says, trust your intuition. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. If your gut feeling is telling you to distance yourself from certain people and get closer to those who have a positive aura to them, do it. If your heart is telling you to travel, quit that job, start this project, spend more time in nature, take a break, read that book, be with that person. Go for it. Your higher self absolutely knows what's best for you. Your inner knowing is your only true compass. So please don't ignore it. Please trust your intuition again. This one says, react wisely. Allow the feelings, examine them, and make the conscious choice about how to react to it. The reaction should come from your strength, experience, intentions, and the knowledge that your emotions do not control you. That you cannot control your emotions, but you can control what you do with them. So go on and react wisely, please. Please. It's very important. This one says, shadow work. Very important. Before making your way out of hell, you must walk through the depths of your own inner darkness. Unless you learn to first embrace that darkness within yourself, you can never pursue the light of self-love in a balanced way. Genuine self-love is one of the most profound experiences in the universe. However, or in creation, or existence is a better word. Universe means one realm. However, it usually takes time. It does. It takes sincere dedication and discipline to develop. We are surrounded by so many images, beliefs, and behaviors that reinforce the idea of self-hatred. Every day that it can be difficult for us to connect to the love inside of us. Start doing the shadow work now. Right? Embrace the depths of your being. Start to understand it. And the best thing that we can do is to go back to situations where we've experienced serious trauma in our minds. And I'm not saying do this through hypnotism, do this through meditation, and we comfort ourselves. We give guidance to that version of us that happened in the past, and we do it through being calm and loving and comforting to our own selves. So whatever trauma that you've experienced, maybe as a child or an adult, you go into your mind, into your heart, and you relive that experience, but this time you tell yourself, look, this is what I practiced. Look at how good you're doing now. Everything that you went through was making you stronger. I know it's hard for you to understand now, but this is making you a rounded being, that your soul will make it through this. And just tell yourself kind, loving things. And what you're going to find is those traumatizing experiences, they're not going to affect you anymore. You'll see an image, you'll hear a word, you'll have a situation set up similar to what you went through, and you're going to find that it's not going to affect you anymore because you've learned to comfort yourself, right? These are keys to overcoming your shadow, right? And we're going to get into more of that in the future as well. And the last one of the morning, but not least, it says, beautiful people. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These people have appreciation and super sensitivity. They have an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen. And I'm just so thankful that I'm surrounded by so many beautiful people. And you guys are what keeps me going, and the reason that I feel that I need to try to fight for truth and to help people spiritually and to do these things is because there's so many beautiful people out there. And who am I? If I have the ability to come out here and put on these podcasts, then if I don't, I'm not going to help create more beautiful people, because that's the goal here, is to create truth and beautiful people. And it's always been that. So again, it's now 8:35 a.m. in the Central Standard Time. That's 9:35 for everybody on the East Coast. It's Friday, December 30th. Thank you for bearing with me through the technical issues. They always try to hack in. They always try to do what they can, but they can never stop me. They're never going to stop me, not even in death. So I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend, right? Keep your heads up, do the shadow work, continue to fight for truth, and be the best that you can be, okay? And I'm going to see you guys again next week. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye.
It don't matter where we go. It don't matter where we stay tonight. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright. It don't matter what we say. It don't matter how we make things right. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright. When I'm with you. It don't matter where we go. It don't matter if we lose it all. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright. It don't matter if we fall down into the darkest place we know. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright.